Well, I think we will go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. It's so great to see your faces today. And welcome to our very first New to NASA web seminar. I'm sue.struve. I'm Communications Manager here at NASA. And whether you're new to your state arts agency or the field, or just want a refresher on what NASA is all about, today we'll give you a taste of the services your professional association offers. A quick note about Zoom, for those of you who may not be familiar with the platform. If you hover over the bottom, you'll see, if you're on a computer, you'll see a bunch of icons. The main one to pay attention to today is the chat icon. If you're on Zoom by phone, you can access chat at the More link. If you want to ask a question anytime during the session, just click that chat icon or tap the link on your phone and enter your text at the bottom. We're going to have time for questions at the end of all the presentations, so we've muted all of you to be sure others don't hear background noise. We'll be recording today's session and we'll make it available soon afterward. Also, we'll be posting relevant links during the presentations. We'll be posting those in the chat, so keep an eye open for those for additional information. So today you'll be hearing from these NASA staff experts. And let's wave so everyone knows which ones you are in this large screen of people. First, Ryan Stubbs, Senior Director of Research. Kelly Barsdate, Chief Program and Planning Officer. And Eric Giles, Director of Learning Services. To kick us off, however, we've asked Suzanne Wise to share a few words. Now, Suzanne is NASA's board chair, and she's also Executive Director of the Nebraska Arts Council. So Suzanne, take it away.
Thanks, Sue. Hi, everybody. I'm really pleased that so many of you are attending today's presentation. And I want to give a particular shout out to my colleagues from Mid-America Arts Alliance in Kansas and Oklahoma, and my border buddies from South Dakota and Colorado. So, hey, how you doing? I think many of you know that NASA is the service organization for the state and territorial arts agencies. But what that means exactly can be something of a mystery. So I hope at the end of today's session, you'll have a better understanding of what NASA does to help you in our field. I've been the director at the Nebraska Arts Council for a number of years now, and I can say with absolute certainty that if you contact NASA and request data or need help in solving a problem, if they don't have the answer, it doesn't exist. And I know there are a number of staff on this Zoom and a couple of newer directors. Hello there, DC and New Mexico. And I hope by learning more about what NASA does, you'll be confident to use their resources. There are a number of issues right now on our minds: COVID, looming budget cuts, diversity and equity challenges, and what things are looking like nationally. So I think the more that you can connect with NASA and their knowledge in these areas, the better off we all are. Finally, I want to encourage you to become involved yourself in NASA, because I think through committee or board service, you not only contribute to NASA's effectiveness, but you learn firsthand the depth of service that NASA provides to you and your agency. So it's time for me to say thanks for being here, and I'll turn it over to the experts. Ryan, this is the Senior Director of Research, who will be talking about NASA's knowledge services. So go for it, Ryan.
Great, thanks so much, Suzanne. And can everybody see my slides? Excellent. So thanks, yeah, my name's Ryan Stubbs. I'm the Senior Director of Research at NASA, and my job entails delivering NASA's knowledge services to you all, our members. So good to see you all today, to see a lot of new and some familiar faces as well. So NASA's research services are action-oriented, and they're here to respond to the most pressing questions of our members. Some of these questions are ephemeral and one-offs, but many do come up time and again. And we calibrate our resources to be relevant to many member questions, to many of your questions. So NASA collects and maintains fundamental data describing the work of state arts agencies. And we maintain databases on state arts agency revenues and state arts agency grant making. And we keep up with research on state arts agency practices to understand issues affecting the field at large and how state arts agency work responds to the various policy challenges that we face. So I'm going to go over some of our core research resources that are useful to many agencies and touch on how you can use our research services. Let me just be able to switch slides here. Great. So twice a year, NASA surveys state arts agencies to report on their legislative appropriations and revenues. We ask for these data frequently to maintain their currency and accuracy, both of which are important to states and to arts advocates. The funding resources that we have are useful if you want to know how your state's legislation, for example, how your state's legislative appropriation may compare to other states, how they compare to the nation, or to some of your historical trends. We offer reports that can be downloaded, as well as dynamic data visualizations that will help put your agency's revenue into context. And these data can help answer questions such as, how does my state's appropriation rank out of 50 or 56 state arts agencies? How much would our appropriation have to grow if we wanted to move up in these rankings? And how have our agency's revenues grown over time? And are those trends consistent with national or regional trends? So outside of just the numbers that we report twice a year, we have useful research on the types of revenues that state arts agencies receive, whether those are coming from general funds, dedicated state revenues for the arts, or other sources such as other state sources and also federal sources such as the Arts Endowment. So next, to talk a little bit about our grant-making resources. NASA collects and maintains state arts agency grant-making data in collaboration with the National Endowment for the Arts via final descriptive reports, or FDRs as they're called. And these reports are filed each year by your agency in accordance with your Arts Endowment Partnership Agreement. And they include all of your individual grant-making records with commonly coded fields. So NASA has maintained these records, state arts agency grant-making records, since the 80s. So while comparing and understanding some of these grant-making data can be tricky, we know it well. And it's a really valuable resource, I believe. It can be used to answer questions such as, how does my state compare to others in key grant-making areas such as operational support, arts education, or awards to individual artists? We can map your data in a number of ways to understand how your grants are distributed by county, by rural areas, by congressional districts, state legislative districts, or a number of underlying demographics that you may be interested in knowing about. And our grant-making page has a number of reports and dynamic visualizations to help you uncover some of these key trends or insights in your data. Not to mention, our team can assist with a number of custom maps or reports to help show these data. So next, I just wanted to point out another useful data source. And these are our resources on the creative economy. One major piece is a visualization, an interactive visualization that we have that uncovers creative economy data for every state. And this is using the Arts and Cultural Production Satellite account produced by the US Bureau of Economic Analysis and the Arts Endowment. We call this resource the Creative Economy State Profiles, and you'll see it on our Creative Economy page. And this is a useful way to get key data about your state's creative economy. Additionally, we also maintain a database of all state-produced creative economy studies. So lots of good resources in this area as well. Another thing I wanted to point out is that aside from all of the great quantitative data maintained by NASA to describe the to describe the work of state arts agencies, we also do a substantial amount of qualitative work. And much of our qualitative work seeks to understand the programs, policies, and practices of state arts agencies. We periodically take deep dives into issue areas that have particular importance to state arts agencies, such as arts and health, arts in the military, cultural districts, and public art. And also, while there is a wider organizational emphasis across NASAA related to our work on diversity, equity, and inclusion, our research team certainly contributes work that helps move along our understanding of this complex landscape. And also wanted to mention that we recently launched a webpage specifically dedicated to our DEI resources, and we'll send that link through in the chat as well. So just to mention our team here, I would say that your most important resource is not all of the things I've mentioned that are available online, but your ability to get in touch with our team at your convenience. So for a relatively small organization, I'd say that NASAA is impressively equipped in our research department to respond to state arts agency needs. Knowing that few state arts agencies have internal capacity for research, you can think of our team as your research department. So don't hesitate to contact us whenever you need assistance. And there are a number of ways to reach us via our website, but you can also email or call us at any time. So with that, I will hand things over to NASAA's Chief Planning and Program Officer, Kelly Barstate.
Thanks so much, Ryan, and hello again to everybody. It's good to see so many friends and family online today. One of my privileges at NASAA is to be the contact person for newly appointed executive directors. I've had the pleasure of talking with many of you in that capacity, but it's also nice to widen that circle and officially put out the welcome mat to every staff member, every council member in the state arts agency universe. So I'm going to be talking a little bit today about NASAA's representation functions, right? What we do in the advocacy realm. It's helpful to think about this on 3 layers. We advocate certainly for the arts and state arts agencies at the federal level. At the state level, we help you make a convincing case for your legislative appropriation. And NASAA also cultivates policy partnerships to help you increase your influence and your impact. So here's what that looks like in action. Educating Congress is, of course, a really big part of NASAA's work, making sure that they see the value of the arts and of state arts agencies too. There's always a host of new lawmakers and new legislative staffers on Capitol Hill. So this education work of ours is ongoing, but obviously elections naturally accelerate that turnover. So making sure that new electeds get good information about the arts and state arts agencies will be a top priority for NASAA with the new year. Securing funds for the National Endowment for the Arts every year, another top priority. Right now, the House will likely recommend $170 million for the Arts Endowment in 2021, which is great news. That would mean an increase of more than $7 million for the agency. But we do have a ways to go before we can notch that one in the win column. The Senate has not yet weighed in. And of course, the congressional calendar is compressed this year due to the election cycles and the party convention. So we will keep you posted. As part of that appropriations process, NASAA also advocates for continuation of what we call the 40%, the portion of the NEA grants budget that is allocated by law to states and to regions. We are also working hard on COVID-19 relief and recovery funding this year. As Suzanne mentioned, that's a major part of the state arts agency landscape. And it's part of NASAA's advocacy agenda as well, making sure that legislation like the CARES Act and like future bills as well make provisions for artists, arts organizations, and the Arts Endowment too. NASAA helps you make the case for the arts at your state level. Part of that is the great data that Ryan just talked about to give you a strong evidence base, but NASAA also offers how-to advice and tools designed for state arts councils, citizen advocacy groups, and other arts advocates. We offer training and professional development to demystify advocacy and promote best practices. We also offer model messaging to shape a case that elected officials will find credible and compelling. We also offer a bunch of tools with tips and practical pointers for how to deliver those messages to elected officials in your own state. Two of our most popular items in our portfolio of advocacy tools are why should government support the arts and advocacy versus lobbying, because we get a lot of questions about both of those topics. NASA also engages in policy collaborations to amplify what you do and to open doors at the national level that you can walk through at the state level. A lot of this work represents cross-sector intersections that are designed to build allies and support for the arts. Since our time is short online today, I'll just mention two of those partnerships. The first is with the National Governors Association, or NGA. With support from the Arts Endowment, we developed a partnership with the NGA to promote the arts in rural economic development. Advocates use this as a springboard for conversations with economic development officials, with rural development councils, even actors at the local level to try to boost support for the arts as part of rural prosperity work. Another partnership example is with NACEDA, or the National Alliance of Community Economic Development Associations. We are working with the NACEDA to introduce state arts agencies to their community development counterparts at the state level. And we also did an article together for the Community Development Innovation Review. That journal is published by the Federal Reserve Board of San Francisco. It's targeted at banks, community development finance institutions, and similar folks that we hope to convert to arts champions and allies. Now, none of what NASA accomplishes in advocacy can be done without many voices singing in harmony, and that chorus is incomplete without you. When there is impending federal legislation, NASA will send out legislative alerts inviting you to get information to your congressional delegation or to thank your congressional delegation for policies that have been enacted that are beneficial for the arts. Anyone is welcome to enroll for these legislative alerts. You can sign up here on the advocacy page of NASAA's website. I think that URL will also come through the chat line. And we really welcome your active participation and encourage you to share these resources with others. All of NASAA's advocacy resources, while developed for state arts agencies, are free to all people who wish to join the chorus of support for the arts. So that's it for me for now, though I'm happy to answer questions when we get to Q&A. But before that, I am going to turn things over to Eric Giles. Eric?
Thank you, Kelly, and welcome everyone here. I'm very happy to see you. I just want to talk a little bit about our learning services. NASA offers a variety of learning services, from web seminars like this one to in-person convenings to Zoom calls, peer group meetings, and other web sessions. Our in-person convenings primarily consist of an annual gathering in the field. Sessions at those convenings include best practices, updates on state and federal policy, as well as artist performance and peer gatherings. We also offer pre-conference gatherings in that. And this year, we're offering a couple of special gatherings that unfortunately won't be able to happen in person. But we have our community developers who are going to have a convocation around creative placemaking, as Kelly mentioned. And annually, the arts education folks meet for their Professional Development Institute. If you have questions about the Professional Development Institute, just email Susan Achin. This year, since we cannot meet together, we've gone ahead and put together a killer lineup of timely web sessions for our upcoming Shifting Policy and Practice learning series. I'm hoping you can all join us around the computer for these sessions. They're on a variety of topics related to the new landscape we live in. Topics are going to include building bridges in fractured communities, pivoting into this new environment, creating more equity in grant making, and much more. To register, just click the link I've just sent through chat or visit our website. And finally, I wanted to talk about peer groups. Even though we aren't able to meet in person, you can still interact with your peers. We have 8 job-alike peer groups right now that you can connect up with. If you have any questions about which one works best for you, you can contact me or Sue. You can find these on the website. That link will be coming up through chat as well, or you can just visit our website and click on the Your NASA button. Now I'm going to turn things back over to Sue, who's going to talk a little bit more about peer groups related to listservs.
Yeah,
Sue?
NASA listservs are a way for staff members in job-alike groups to share successes and challenges across the miles. If you want to subscribe to a listserv or aren't sure which listservs you're subscribed to, just send me an email. Let's see, I also want to mention our many communications. We have legislative alerts, which Kelly mentioned. We've sent out several about COVID-19 to staff and council members, and our report to councils comes out about 4 or 5 times a year to keep your council members up to date on what's going on. So if you're a staff or council member of a state arts agency, you should automatically be receiving NASA communications. So if you're new, be sure to get in touch so we have your information. We publish the NASAA Notes newsletter once a month, and that's a way for you to hear directly from NASA President and CEO Pam Breaux, as well as to find out about other things that are happening at NASA and in the field. The NASA website, nasa-arts.org, is a treasure trove of information for and about state arts agencies. You've already heard a little bit about the research, advocate, and events and seminars sections from our presenters. Explore those to learn more. I also wanted to call your attention to this COVID-19 resources for state arts agencies link on the home page. This page lists many state arts agency programs developed due to the coronavirus, along with resources about reopening, equity, online meetings, and more. Another section of interest is My NASA, which Eric mentioned. You'll see member alerts and links to important information. And down here at Your Network, there's a link to a Welcome Newcomers page. Here you'll find a good place to get started, whether you're a staff member or a council member. You can also find out about NASAA's communications from our recent news page. So if you're not sure if you're on our mailing list or want to have any questions about the website, just please be sure to get in touch. Looks like we've got a few minutes left for your questions. So thank you to Suzanne and to all our presenters. Several questions have come in through chat, I believe. We're also happy to take questions by phone. So if you're calling by phone only, tap *6 to unmute. Ask your question and then tap *6 to mute yourself again once you're done. And if you're on Zoom, just send us a chat and let us know you have a question and Eric can call on you. So first, let's see if there are any questions from people who've called in by phone. *6 to unmute if you have a question by phone about all of this juicy material. All right, well, Eric, why don't you start us off with any questions that have come in through chat?
Sure, thank you. We have a question that's actually come in for Suzanne. Suzanne, who is on the NASA board?
The NASA board consists of executive directors and chairs of the state arts agencies and territorial arts agencies. And a few years ago, as part of NASAA's efforts to expand, we also now have members from organizations whose missions are aligned with NASAA's, like the Alliance of Artists Communities is one example. And it's as diversity as much as you can be diverse. You have old people like me and young people, and you have representatives from every part of the country, ethnicities of all kinds, and genders of all kinds. And it's a great organization to be part of when you're on that board, because they do take seriously the issues and topics that are really germane to all of us at this point. So you can see on the NASA website, there is a nice section, a landing page, which shows each one of the board members. And you can kind of click through and see who those people are.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sue, I had one come through for you. Is there a listserv specifically for council members?
That's a great question. We had a listserv for council members, but for some reason it wasn't particularly active. So we sort of disabled it. But if there is enough interest, we probably will definitely ramp that up again.
Thank you, Sue.
There is a council members peer group too, as you had mentioned earlier. Chairs and council members peer group. So the person to get in touch with there is Laura Smith.
Ryan, I have a question for you. Are all of the NASAA resources and custom analysis free to members?
Sure. So I would say that we really go out of our way to make sure that we're able to deliver the same level of service to every member. So all of the resources that I shared today are available to every member. Of course, sometimes we're asked to go sort of above and beyond with the work that we might do for someone. And if it comes to that, we usually will have a conversation, but there are certain services. For example, we were talking with our friends in Oklahoma, Ecom, and some other folks. Kayla, I think I see some others, for a strategic planning survey that we did, which was a fee for service, but the vast majority of the work that we do is part of your NASAA membership.
Great. And before I ask a final question, I want to give the people on the phone one last chance to ask one. So if anyone is on the phone would like to ask a question, just hit *6 and unmute yourself at this point. All right, and Sue, the last question goes to you. If I'm new, who should I contact at NASAA to get the login for the website or matched up with the listserv?
That would be me. You want to contact me at sue.struve, S-T-R-U-V-E, at nasa-arts.org. And I'll be sure, we do have a little bit of content that's members only on our website. And that would give you access to that, as well as help you sign up for however many listservs are appropriate for your job function.
Great. And unfortunately, it looks like we are out of time for questions at this point, but this is not the last chance you have to see us or ask us questions. Just send us an email, give us a call. We're happy to jump on the phone with you on another Zoom chat or answer any email questions you may have. Sue's going to wrap us up here quickly, and then we'll let you all get back to your busy lives. Sue?
Just wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined us on the call today for your questions and for your interest. We hope you learned a little bit about your professional association, and just spend some time exploring our website. There's a lot there. And as Eric said, feel free to email or call us. He's going to put that info in the chat for you. Anytime, if you need assistance or have any questions, we are here for you. So don't hesitate to get in touch. Meanwhile, have a great day, and please stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Great to
everyone.
see you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.